Good evening and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you have joined me tonight for a night of information, revelation, and change. Yes, guys, tonight is going to be a great night. And I just wanted to share with you tonight about fathers. We know that this weekend it is Father's Day weekend, and I just want to share a little bit about fathers. I am still doing my mentoring moments segment on my show where I want to interview men and find out what they're doing in their communities, find out what they're doing in their lives that can help mentor another young man. They may think that what they're doing is not mentoring someone, but you are, because someone is watching. Someone is paying close attention to what you're doing. And they are looking at you as that example. They are looking at you as that father figure that they look up to. So if you are a man out there and you are mentoring others, please let me know. Send me an email at wholebeautiful@gmail.com. Or if you know of a man that is out there mentoring other young men, or even talking to others, just sharing with others, even if it's just one-on-one, I would love to talk to them. I would love to do a show with them, about them, to share with the world what they're actually doing. Because too often we don't honor our fathers too much in this life. Sometimes we don't even honor men and put them in the place where they are supposed to be. We should be able to honor each other, and that's what I want to do. So this weekend, what we're doing on this Friday show is we are going to honor our fathers. We're going to honor them, whether they taught you what to do or whether they taught you what not to do. We still want to give them the honor that is due unto them. So I ask that you stay tuned, that you like, that you comment, that you share this broadcast with somebody out there. Let them know that Whole and Beautiful is on, and we are ready to share with them tonight. We are ready to give them some information that will bring about a revelation and a change in their lives. Okay, guys, we are going to take a short Selah moment break right here, and we're going to come right back. So make sure that you are letting someone else know that Whole and Beautiful is on and that they need to tune in tonight as we talk about and honor our fathers. We'll be right back. Good evening and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you all have joined me tonight for a night of information, revelation, and change. Yes, guys, just like I told you before the break, tonight we are going to talk about fathers. We're just going to share some information with you. Excuse me, some information with you about fathers. Um, a lot of times we look at our fathers and we have wanted so much for them to be something that they are not, or we wanted them to be like somebody else. Excuse me, guys. We wanted to see them in a different light than what we saw them, or we put them on this pedestal of they could never do any wrong and they are not flawed. And when we were let down, when we find out that they're actually human beings and they do make mistakes, sometimes that just brings us all the way down and we're like, oh, I can't have that relationship with my dad. Or we get so angry, we get so upset. And I want to ask you tonight, what are you really upset about? Before we went to break, I had told you maybe your father taught you what not to do. Some fathers have taught us what to do. Some fathers have taught us what not to do. And even if he taught you that, that's enough to honor him. That's enough to say, you know what? Okay, maybe you were not there. Maybe you were not in my life. I have heard many men who have said that their dad was not there, but he taught them what not to do. So they did the opposite of what their dad was doing. And sometimes that's the lesson that needs to be learned. And you still can develop that relationship with your dad, with that father. And sometimes you can't because they're not there, they're not around. Maybe they have passed away. Maybe they have just gone on about their business and they really don't want a relationship. So what you have to do is say what relationships work for me. Who can be that mentor for me? Do I need that mentor in my life? If I need that mentor, then I seek out that person that I feel, where they can speak into my life, where they can help me with some of the maybe the father issues that I have. But the majority of the time, what we need to do is just refocus. We need to look at things just a little bit differently because our perspective is powerful and we believe our perspective of a thing. So I want you to start looking at your dads, looking at your fathers as being human beings, as being flawed human beings, because they had issues and stuff going on. A lot of times, those issues arise in our own homes. And sometimes, you know what, you had that dad that was there, that was what I say actively present. He wasn't just in the home, but he participated with you with different things. He was there for you. And that is awesome to come from a home where your dad is actively present, where you're that daddy's girl or you're that daddy's boy, and he has been there with you, participating, pouring into your life, and doing all of that. It is awesome. And some people have not have had that. So even in both situations, there are things that we can learn. There are things that we can glean from. There are things that they may have done or not done that we can grow from. And that's what I want to present to you tonight. Don't look at this day as being, oh, you know what, well, I'm just going to honor my mom because my mom has been both my dad and my mom. No, 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 no. Your dad is your dad. Whether he was there or not, he is your dad. He is the one that you need to honor on this day. And if you choose not to, then is that's up to you. That's your business. That's what you can do or not do. Um to just give you just a little snippet of my relationship with my dad was not all the time there with us. Um, he was in my life, like in and out of my life, but I still remember those moments of my dad teaching me to ride a bicycle. I remember him playing jump rope with us. I remember him sitting down with us and playing with us when we were pretending like we were having tea parties and we were fixing food and different things like that, and he would sit down and he would actually participate with us. And I remember the games, I remember him playing with us, I remember him being there for us. And I remember the one time that my dad spanked me. He only spanked me once. Oh my goodness. And to this day I remember that. And I don't think it's because, oh, it hurt so bad that he spanked me or whatever as physically. It was because of, I can't believe my dad is really gonna spank me for what I did. But I deserved it. And it was something, I deserved it. So I remember those things, and I remember that my dad was just a kind person. he had some flaws. He had some things going on in his life, things that I will never know about because my dad is not with me anymore. My dad passed away at a very early age. At the age of 56, my dad passed away. And I so wish that he was still alive today so that I could talk to him, so that I could share some things with him, so that he could see his great grands. He met like all of his grands except for one. And I would love to see, him around them today. I would love to see how he would interact with them. And my dad had a laugh that was out of this world. He would laugh and make other people laugh just because, not because of what he said, but because of his laugh. It would make you start laughing. And but even though he was flawed and even though he had some issues in his life, I love my dad with all of my heart. And I really, like I said, I really wish he was still around just to see how he would be as an older man, and to see him to live out his life to the fullest. But that didn't occur, so I cherish the moments that we did have, and I think about them often. And sometimes I miss him so much. I will wake up and I will be like, man, I miss my dad today. Man, I would love to talk to him or call him. And guys, it's not because my dad was there consistently all the time. It's because I am older now and I see my dad as being a human being. I'm glad that I saw that before he passed away, that he was a human being. And he was just like my mom was. They were 19 years old having me. And they were kids. I look at that now, I'm like, they were 19, 20 years old, and they're having me, and trying to make a family and stuff, and they were kids. So they thought as kids thought, and he thought as a child would think. And I know people say, well, you got to grow up fast, you got a kid and stuff, but he was still a kid himself. So to go back and to look at that and to think about my dad and at that age, being 19, being 20, and going into being 30, and I'm looking at my sons who are now in their 30s, just stepping into their 30s, and I'm like, wow, this was my dad, and he was trying to raise his children. He was trying to, but he was flawed and he had some issues. And back in the day, going to a counselor or a therapist, it was like, you crazy. You are crazy. And especially a black man going to go see somebody to sit down and talk to them about the issues that's going on in his life, that was not going to occur. Not back in the day. Not unless it was secretive and nobody said anything. And I sometimes wonder if he had support, Did he have support from other men? Did he have somebody that he can go talk to and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on with me. And you know what? I don't know how to shake this. I don't know what to do with this, you know? And I often sometimes think about that. And I was like, did he have the help that he needed? Did he have things that he needed in order to get him to where he needed to be? And I'm sad to say that I'm thinking no, because of his actions, because of different things that went on. And but I do thank God for my dad. I know that God had a purpose and a plan for him to be my dad. He became my dad, and I am so proud of him, and I love him to this day. Even though he's not here, I love him to this day. And if he could see us now, oh, I know he would be so proud. He would be so proud and so pleased with all of his children. And I just applaud him, and I thank God for him. I know he's not here physically with me, but I thank God for him because he's my dad, and I love him. And that's what I want you all to realize this weekend. I want you to honor your dads. I want you to be able to pour out that love on them just like you did with your moms. Some of you who still have your moms with you, you have done so many things for them on Mother's Day. And I want you to have that same excitement about Father's Day. I want you to pour into your dad. I want you to pour into that person who has stepped up in your life and who has fathered you, you know, and share with them just how much they have impacted you. You never know what that does for another person when you just share with them how much they have impacted your life, how much they have changed you, how much what they have said or done and have poured into you that has literally molded you and shaped you and caused you to be the man that you are today. A lot of us, we walk around and we never tell our fathers or we never tell that mentor how much they mean to us and how much them pouring into us has changed our lives. And what I want you to do is to do that for the men in your life this weekend. I want you to let them know how much they mean to you. I want you to let them know how much you applaud them, you appreciate them, and that you are pouring your love on them this weekend. Take them out, you know. You do the cookout. Instead of wanting them to do a cookout on Father's Day, you do the cookout. Invite them over. Let them sit back. Let them relax. And share with them just how much they mean to you and just how much you want to just shower them with your love and with the blessings that they deserve. Life is too, like some people say, life is too short. It's to be playing games with people, really, and to play around and say, you know what, well, I'm not going to even try to contact my dad. He wasn't there, and he wasn't this, and he wasn't that. Even if you choose not to contact him, that's your choice. But even in the midst of it, make sure that you say, okay, what lessons do I not need to do? You know, he taught me what not to do. If he taught you what not to do, what are you stopping? What are you rearranging in your life so you don't go down the same path that he did? And if you have the opportunity to make amends with a father this weekend, or even a father figure, I pray that you will do that you will contact them, that you will talk to them, that you will let them know, hey, Dad, you know, I love you. Even though you went and you did this, you did that, you did the other, you still my pop, and I love you. Um, you would be amazed at just how those words would change the whole demeanor of a person, that would literally change that person's life just to know that you care. Take your dad out to lunch, take him out to dinner. Um, just sit back, shower them with gifts, and sit back and enjoy the fact that your dad is still here if he is. Enjoy that he's here. Enjoy that he's with you. And if you're like me and your dad is not here with you, enjoy the fact that, hey, this was my dad. I loved him with all of my heart, and I'm going to continue to do so. Some people go out to the gravesite, they put balloons, they put flowers, and they do the whole nine. I'm not that person. Um, but I will honor my dad this weekend. I honor my dad this weekend. I really will, because I want, just like I'm honoring him now, and I want everybody to know that he may not have been the best of dads, but he is a great dad. Even though he has passed away, even though he's not here with me, he was a great dad. He still is a great dad. And when he passed and when he left this world, um, there was a peace between me and him. There was a peace between him and his children. Excuse me. So I am thankful for that. I am thankful for the peace that I had with him and for him. I'm thankful for the peace that I had with him before he passed away, because it could have been totally different. He could have passed away, and I could be still upset about the fact that I didn't get to say and I didn't get to be with him. But I made every effort to be with my dad and to be around him when he was alive. When I knew where he was, I was checking on him or going to go see him, or talking to my sister because she was closer in proximity of where he lived. And when he was not feeling well and different things, she would call me, she would let me know. We would try our best to go see him and talk to him and different things like that. So I am thankful. I'm thankful for him, and I want you all to be thankful for your dads too. I want to share something with you guys tonight, and I hope that it will minister to you. I hope that it will cause you to develop that relationship if you don't already have that relationship with your dad. I hope that it will cause you to go and develop that relationship, because a lot of times we have things built up in our heads and we think that, oh, I ain't gonna talk to him. He ain't never been there for me, and you got this little boy who is mad at his daddy for not being there, and now you're a grown man. You grown and got your own family, and you still acting out like that little boy. I want you to grow up in that area and not be that little boy anymore, so to speak. Let that little boy heal this weekend and go talk to your dad if you can. If he's not with you, maybe you can write it down in a journal. Maybe you can write it down on a piece of paper. These are the things I wanted from you. These are the things that I needed from you. And you simply were not there. But I forgive you. And there we go, going back to the forgiveness again. Because, guys, you don't want to repeat some of the things. If he taught you what not to do, then don't do it. Don't repeat that same thing in your son's life, in your daughter's life. And the way that you do that is you heal. You call them, you talk to them, even if it's short, and you say what you need to say. If you can't say what you need to say face to face, say it on a piece of paper and be done. Say it in a journal and be done with it. And say, this is the day I release this and I let this go. Why? Because then you can begin to live. And you can be the type of father that you need to be in your son and in your daughter's life. What I want to share with you tonight, too, is this 4-step process that I've read in this book. It's called Bullseye, and it's by Brian Tracy. It is a good book. It's The Power of Focus. It is a good book, because I'm asking you tonight, what are you focusing on? What are you focusing on that is causing you to not have that relationship with your dad? That cause you to walk around being angry with your dad, being upset, being hurt, you know? You need to have joy in your heart. And the way you're going to get that joy is you got to eliminate this worry. You got to eliminate that stress. And how do you do that? And that's what I want to share with you tonight, is how you're going to do that so that you can have a blessed Father's Day weekend. Don't walk around upset and angry and all of that. Just walk around with your head held high. You are here because of your mom and your dad. You are here because God wanted you to be here. Your Heavenly Father wanted you to be here. You're here. So, you know what? Accept the fact that you're here. And if you are a father, accept that and be like, yeah, I'm not going to do the worst at it. I'm going to try to do the best that I can at it. And I'm going to look at my life and maybe see where I can be better, a better father in these areas to my children than maybe my dad was. Or maybe I want to be like my dad and be the type of man he was. So then you pattern that after him and you say, okay, this is the things that he's taught me. Write down what he's taught you. Write down the things that he has poured into your life. Go back and reflect on that. What are some of your best memories of your dad? What are some of the worst, and why are they the worst? And come to a conclusion of saying, you know what? This is the man he was, regardless of if I liked it or not. This is who he was. This is what I know about him. And accept that. And be like, okay, you know what? Now let me just move on from here. But one of the ways to minimize or even eliminate your worry associated with your dad, or associated with this problem that you may have with your dad, or difficulty, and regain your calmness and regain your clarity, is for you to fill out a disaster report. What is a disaster report? It is first you define the problem clearly, and preferably, he says even in the book, to write it down. Whatever that problem is with you that you're having with your dad, I want you to write it down. Write it down, because you're writing out a clear definition of what that problem is. It clarifies your thinking and it makes the problem more amenable to a solution. So, first off, if you're having that issue or something is going on, write down what it is that's happening. Write down what that problem is. And then the second thing that you want to do is you want to ask, what is the worst possible outcome of this problem? What is the worst possible outcome of the problem that you may have with that father, with that dad, with that granddad? What is the problem? What is the worst possible outcome of this problem that you're having? After you've written down the problem, then you write down, what is the worst possible outcome of this problem? What's the worst thing that could happen? And then you be open and you be honest and deal directly with the worst thing that could happen in this problem situation. You deal with it. You deal directly with what, okay, if this is the outcome of this, if this is the worst possible outcome, how would I deal with this? And then the third thing, you resolve to accept the worst should it occur. So if that worst thing were to happen, this is how I'm going to deal with it. And you know what? I resolve that this is, if this happened, this is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to happen. And you begin to deal with that aspect of it. Because once you define the worst possible outcome and you have resolved to accept that, should that worst thing occur, your worry will begin to drop away. Because why? This is the worst possible thing that can happen. And what am I going to do? I'm going to accept that. Should this occur, I'm going to accept it. I'm going to accept it before it happens. Should this thing occur, okay, this is what my reaction should be to this. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to move on with my life, you know. And the stress and the tension of it starts to evaporate, and your worry will begin to drop away. And you can begin to feel calm again, collected, and in complete control. But in the last thing, begin that he is saying to do, and this is with a problem. I am just adding that as problem with your father. But fourth is begin immediately to improve upon the worst. Begin immediately to do everything you possibly can to make sure that the worst possible outcome does not occur. So if your worst possible outcome is, you know what, my dad will never speak to me, we'll have this rift in our relationship if I say these things or do this right here, then he's going to reject me if I try to approach him, or he's not going to hear me. So what I do is I make on my end everything possible to do so this will not occur. But even if it does occur where he rejects me, or he doesn't talk to me, or he doesn't want to have that relationship if I'm reaching out to him, then you know what? I have resolved to say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's like, it is well with my soul. It's going to be well with me if you don't agree to have this relationship with me. It's going to be well with me if you're in my life, even if you're not. If you choose not to be, it's going to be well with me. I'm going to be okay. And that's what you have to say. You can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do. But then who knows? You may be the one that go and try to develop that relationship with your dad. You may be finding out who your dad is this weekend. And you go and you try to develop that relationship with them. And it may not be the relationship that you thought it was going to be. But at least you know them. At least you had the opportunity to talk to them. At least you do know a name now. Different things like that. And some of us some may not even get to know who your dad is. Maybe he passed away before you even got to know who he was. Um, so with that, you just have to resolve the fact that, you know what, he's no longer with me. But this Father's Day, I release it and I let it go. This Father's Day, I give it over to my Heavenly Father. I release it. I let it go. I am not going to continue to allow this thing to haunt me, allow this thing to rule my life, allow this thing to control me. I'm going to walk in a calmness and I'm going to walk in a peace and I'm going to love on the father figures that are in my life right now. Many men influence us. If we sit back and we look at it, we say, you know what man influenced me um during my life? Some of us have father figures or men who have influenced our lives. Others may not have that in your life, and you may say, you know what? Maybe it was a teacher who who you had in school. Maybe it was a gym teacher. Maybe it was a coach. It's so many aspects of people pouring into your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be your father, your biological father. It could be somebody else that you have entrusted, with information, or you can go and sit down and talk to. So I am saying, men some relationships, guys, this weekend. You know what? Men some relationships. Fathers and sons get together. I know too many fathers and sons who have issues with each other. And I guess that's why I'm coming from this aspect of heal the relationship this weekend. Talk to your dad. Be open with him. Share some things with him. Talk to him about, how you feel about a thing. Maybe he won't listen. Maybe he will. And if he don't, you know what? It's okay. You tried. But even if he does and you don't get the response from him that you want, it's okay. You shared it. You got it off of you. If he's not going to listen to you at all, write it down. Get it off your chest. And once and for all, say, you know what? I'm moving forward. I love my dad and I'm going to move forward. I forgive him and I'm going to move forward. He's a human being with issues. He has flaws. You know what? And so do I. So you know what? I am going to live this life and live it to the fullest. And I'm going to have an awesome life, an awesome day. And go ahead and move on and move forward. Once you do these 4 steps, you know what? The results of it could be phenomenal for you. And that's why I want you to try it. You can use it when you face any problem or difficulty in any part of your life. Define the problem clearly. Determine the worst possible outcome. Resolve to accept the worst should it occur. And then get busy improving upon the worst to make sure it doesn't happen. But even if it does, you have already resolved that it's okay. I'm going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right. And finally, guys, to eliminate worry and develop persistence, get so busy working on your goal that you don't have time to worry about your problems or your difficulties. I'm not saying push them under the rug and never even deal with it. I'm saying get your life focused. Don't let focusing so much on, oh, my dad wasn't there, my dad wasn't there, my dad wasn't there. Don't let that continually just be your focus all the time, where it disrupts your relationship and it disrupts you from even having a relationship with your dad. Don't do that. Don't focus on that so much, that it just disrupts everything. Put your focus on what your goal is. My goal is to have a relationship. If he chooses not to, I have resolved in my heart and in my mind, in my entire being, that it's okay. If he doesn't want that, or I don't know who he is and I can't contact him, resolve that in your heart and say, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to live. I'm going to live, and I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to be the best me possible. And I'm just going to love me and continue to move forward in life. And I'm not going to let this thing put me in a place of worry and stress so much that I can't even live my life, that I can't even move forward, that I can't even be who I need to be, because my focus is so much on somebody who was not there, or my focus is on so much of a relationship I did not have. And it could go either way. You focusing so much on the relationship you did have, and now he's not here any longer. You know what? Move forward this weekend. Applaud your fathers. Have fun with them. Enjoy them while they are with you. Have the most amazing Father's Day possible. Enjoy life this weekend. Mend some relationships this weekend. You can do it. And take that worry and that stress off of you, and just continue to move forward. Continue to love who you are. And in the midst of it all, guys, men, if you're listening to me, if you didn't have that mentor in your life, be the mentor in somebody else's. If you feel like you didn't have nobody there to mentor you, to encourage you, to help build you, or whatever the case may be, do that for somebody else. And you don't have to be 50, 60 years old to do it. You could do it at a young age. You could mentor some of your friends. You could talk to them. You could share with them good sound wisdom. Find out some stuff. Read up on some stuff. Get as much wisdom as you can and share that into another young man's life. Guys, this is all I have for you tonight. I just want you to honor your fathers this weekend. I want you to spend time with them. I want you to write down, what did my father do for me? What did he didn't? What are the things that he didn't do for me? And like I said in the beginning, whether he taught you what to do or what not to do, make sure that you honor the fact that he is your father, whether you want to or not, and just let it go. Whether it feels good or not, just let it go and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this Father's Day to the fullest. I am going to resolve some issues this weekend. I am going to mend some relationships this weekend. Or I am just going to go in and applaud my daddy, because he's been here and he has always been with me, and we have always had a great relationship. So I'm going to applaud him, and we're going to have fun this weekend. Whatever your issue, whatever your problem, whatever your situation this weekend, make sure that you honor your father. Make sure that you honor him, that you applaud him, and that you thank God for him. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Thank God for him and continue to live your life and be the best you possible. Guys, thank you for letting me speak to you tonight. Thank you for tuning in and hearing what I had to say about fathers. I want to honor fathers. So happy Father's Day, all fathers. If you're a mentor, happy Father's Day, because you are mentoring so many different people, and you may not have like biological children, but you have somebody out there that's looking at you, and they look at you and they look up to you. So I applaud you. Have the most amazing Father's Day this weekend, guys. Make sure that you are applauding the fathers, that you are giving honor where honor is due. Make sure you give them those flowers while they are still alive. And flowers, I mean the blessings, the gifts, the accolades, the applause, whatever it is that you want to just shower blessings upon your father with, that you know will be a blessing to him. That's what I want you to do this weekend. So guys, enjoy your fathers. Make sure you make some phone calls. Make sure you give some hugs. Make sure you give some applause to fathers, and that you honor the kings that they are. Have a wonderful and prosperous and productive weekend, and I shall see you again next week, Friday at 7 p.m. for Whole and Beautiful, where I am allowing you to see, hear, and to know that Whole and Beautiful is not just your destination, guys. It is most definitely your journey. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.